Would you poison yourself to be prettier? Welcome to the 18th century, where beauty isn't pain, it's poison. Being white is beautiful. This is not a black versus white thing. It's actually not about race. It's about money. If you're wealthy, you don't have to go outside to work, so you don't tan. So if you're rich, you're very light. My white lead and vinegar paint can cause infertility. And since I'm a woman in the 18th century, my value is to give my husband babies. So I look beautiful, but I risk losing my value as a woman. I'm probably gonna go into menopause early and cause skin damage, but I can cover it with more lead paint. And to highlight how white my skin is, I'm adding blue veins. Eyebrows were crescent shaped and often drawn with lead because we needed more poison. And if you don't have brows, we can glue on some made from moose fur. Blush was either red or pink and a circle on the cheeks. Lips, a pink or coral pout. If it's giving porcelain doll, I did it right. And for my smallpox scars that the white lead paint didn't cover, beauty patches. And where I put it means something. Under the eye, passion. Forehead meant majestic, playful. If it was rumored that your makeup was poisonous, would you still wear it? Do you even know what's in your makeup?
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, hello, welcome. This is Essential Patience and I Am Patience. On this channel, we have conversations about societal impacts on our finances and lives and how to take back our power so that we can make more intentional decisions for our finances and our lives. So if that sounds good to you, be sure to subscribe to this channel because there's so many of these conversations that comes to you on a weekly basis. So welcome to today's video where we're going to be talking about the beauty standard, its financial impact, and how people are morphing into Frankenstein's monster. This is part 2 of this video, and if you've not yet watched part 1, go into the description and click the link that says part 1, or you can go to the full-length long video, which is about 50 minutes long if you like in that section. But if you watch part 1, here's part 2 and enjoy. It is really concerning that a lot of people go to the plastic surgeon's office not to just look like a better version of themselves, but they take a picture of another person, a celebrity oftentimes, to the plastic surgeon to try to look like that person. But the sad part about it is that some of those celebrities do not even look like that naturally. And they may not look like that in a few months or years because they're also trying to look like somebody else. And while taking a picture of a celebrity has historically been one of the best ways to show the plastic surgeon what you're going for, nowadays it is not uncommon for people to actually take a filtered picture of themselves to their plastic surgeon to look like that, what they look like with a filter on. A 2018 article in CBS called Snapchat Dysmorphia, Selfies, Photo Filters Driving People to Plastic Surgeries. Plastic surgeons are sounding the alarm on a disturbing trend that's emerged with growing popularity of social media. Patients seeking cosmetic surgery to resemble how they see themselves in Snapchat filters. This phenomenon, dubbed Snapchat Dysmorphia, has people requesting fuller lips, bigger eyes, and thinner noses in order to look like the filtered or photo edited versions of themselves. This is an alarming trend because those filtered selfies often present an unattainable look and are blurring the lines of reality and fantasy for these patients. Researchers from Boston University School of Medicine, Department of Dermatology wrote in a recent article published by medical journal Gem Facial Plastic Surgery. And getting plastic surgery is not where it stops. It is actually where it begins for some people because you still have to maintain that look. And often that comes in the form of skincare and makeup. The beauty industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and a significant portion of those is made up of makeup and skincare. A survey by Skin Store found that the average woman spends about $300,000 on face products alone in their lifetime. And you might be wondering how that is even possible, but high-end brands charge hundreds of dollars on a single product with the promise of anti-aging and beautifying effects. If you're lucky enough to be able to escape the consistent pandering by big companies, your luck might just end when you realize the pandering that is now being done by your favorite celebrities and influencers all over the internet. Because whatever the big companies can't sell you, Your favorite influencer and celebrity probably will. While brands such as Fenty Beauty and Rare Beauty come off as authentic endeavors by their celebrity founders, most of the others come off as cash-grabbing attempts, and consumers see right through it, with the exception of their stance. Fenty Beauty by Rihanna recognized a gap in the beauty market which disproportionately favored white-skinned and lighter-skinned women over black-skinned and darker-skinned women. She introduced great products at affordable price points to fill those gaps in, and in many ways forced many beauty brands who for so long refused or made excuses not to provide beauty products for black women or darker shade women to get into the competition. According to a May 2024 article in Tatler, more than 50 celebrity and influencers have launched makeup, skincare, and hair care brands between the years of 2020 and 2023. Somalian American model Iman was the first celebrity to create a makeup brand that embraced people of color. She started Iman Cosmetics in 1994. Remember the era where every celebrity had a perfume and a clothing line? This is very reminiscent of those times. Early 2000s, I think in the late 1990s, there was that too, but it was a big thing between like 1995 and I'll say 2015, and then that kind of went away. We dialed down with the celebrity brands, and then Fenty Beauty, and then all of a sudden all these other beauty brands came out of nowhere, and now every 3 to 10 business days there's a new celebrity or influencer dropping their brand which represents them in their most authentic form. Maintaining your hair to the beauty standards is also very expensive. Haircuts, coloring, extensions, and treatments such as keratin and Brazilian blowouts can add up. According to a survey by Look Fantastic, women spend on average $55,000 on their hair within their lifetime. But this average is disproportionately distributed. As a 2023 LinkedIn article discussed, Black women outspend other ethnic groups, allocating 9 times more on hair care products, with expected value of $3.1 billion in the year 2023, and a projected market worth of $4.6 billion by 2032. It is anticipated for it to experience a compound annual growth rate of 4.3%. As a Black woman whose hair doesn't really fit the beauty standard, I have talked about this in my video, The Rise and Fall of the Natural Hair Movement. So if you've not watched it, go take a look at it. I think that's a great discussion that we had, and it's still relevant today. Now let's move on to the next section. Breaking news. New insecurity just dropped. When I think of the beauty standards, I think of it in almost an MLM type of way, where the companies are the top and they are harvesting all the benefits, which is our money. And how do they get that money? By pointing out our insecurities. If you don't know what an MLM is, it is multi-level marketing. And oftentimes you can spot them because they will give you a book to read, such as Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or The Go Giver, which is the book that I got. One day I will probably sit down and tell the story of how I almost got stuck in an MLM twice, okay? Twice. Do I just look like somebody who would be in an MLM? I guess so, because they thought I'd be perfect for it. But then again, they do not discriminate when recruiting members, okay? They go hard. They will recruit anyone and everyone. But in MLMs, almost everyone loses money. And I'm not kidding. I mean almost everyone. According to a 2023 Forbes article, it states, but the truth is that 99% of people who participate in MLMs lose money, according to the Consumer Awareness Institution, as they struggle to resell products and recruit members for network marketing companies that often tiptoe the edge of illegality and hide the true cost of participation for participants. And those are those who do make money. I'm not talking about all those who actually make a living wage. That is an even smaller percentage. You're talking about just about 0.1% of people who probably make some sort of a living wage within MLMs. And in our beauty standard, those are the companies. They are the 0.1% who make money based on the insecurities of others, because that is what the beauty industry is, that makes money off of our insecurities, pointing out insecurities you didn't even know you have. And guess what? When they point it out to you, they have the perfect solution for you, but it would only cost you your hard-earned money. Someone has an insecurity, they fall into the arms of the beauty industry and get things done that will make them feel better about themselves and feel like they better fit the beauty standards, and therefore they model the beauty standard to everyone else in their daily lives. They become a model, a representation, a manifestation of the beauty standards to those around them. So they're literally free marketing for the company. And whether they intend to or not, they then end up recruiting people for it. And that's why I compared it to an MLM. In that same 2018 article called Snapchat Dysmorphia, it also stated that now it is not just celebrities propagating beauty standards. It is a classmate, a coworker, or a friend. The pervasiveness of these filtered images can take a toll on one's self-esteem and make one feel inadequate for not looking a certain way. They say it may even act as a trigger and lead to the development of body dysmorphia disorder, or BDD, a mental health condition in which a person is preoccupied with the non-existent or minor flaw in their physical appearance. You know it is bad when plastic surgeons are literally complaining about it because they see to profit from people's insecurities as well. But it feels like a new insecurity drops every 3 to 5 business days. Whether it is spraying your face so that you can see the non-existent hair on your face so that you can shave it off or get it dermaplaned, or somebody asking you if you have doe eyes or siren eyes, and then the next person is asking you, are your lips the perfect kissable shape, or do you have hip dips, because that is apparently gross. So you have all of that, and then the OG insecurities of cellulite and stretch marks. Are we tired? Because I know I am. I have been filming so long that the sun is going down now. But we still have a lot to cover because we have to understand why people do this. So let's move on to the next section, which is the reward behind the pain. Pretty privilege. Why do people do it? It seems like a lot to go to attain and then maintain the beauty standard. But there has to be some reward, right? Because if there wasn't, there wouldn't be something that entices us to want that, to crave that. So there is a reward. And we are going to get those people who are like, oh, I'm doing it for myself. It's to feel better about myself. It's for me and me only. And that can be true. But we have to assess pretty privilege to get somewhere in answering this question. So what is pretty privilege? I'm pretty sure it's a term that you've heard over and over again if you're online, but what is it and why do people crave it? Pretty privilege refers to societal advantages and benefits that individuals deemed physically attractive receive. These benefits can manifest in various aspects of life, including personal relationships, professional opportunities, social interactions, and more. People with pretty privilege may experience preferential treatment, more positive attention, and greater opportunities simply by the way they look. Pretty privilege is not one size fits all because in order to receive it, somebody actually has to find you attractive. And you know what they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think that's what they say. But also there are people who everybody thinks of as like conventionally attractive. Say, for example, a Zendaya. I think most people find her conventionally attractive, but it doesn't mean that she will receive the same pretty privilege everywhere she goes. The value of your prettiness is different depending on the location and the people who are there to appreciate your beauty. But experiencing pretty privilege could be like getting better customer service. All of a sudden somebody tells you about the 20% off deal at the cash register that you can get, but they're not telling everybody. They're just telling you because they find you attractive. It could also just look like people being nicer to you, strangers, like you smile, they smile back at you, or at least they don't give you a mean face. In professional settings, you're more likely to get hired or promoted because people like the way you look. In everyday social life, that could also look like receiving invitations to a gala, a ball, or just getting more social invitations and opportunities. But then there's also the aspects of the halo effect that comes with pretty privilege, where you are perceived as kind, gentle, intelligent, and trustworthy, and that goes a long way. While pretty privilege can provide certain advantages, it also highlights issues of inequality and superficial judgments in society, where physical appearance can disproportionately influence how individuals are treated and evaluated. We're going to go back to that article, Beauty in the Eyes of the Colonizer. One thing to keep in mind is that beauty is a facet of power. Being considered beautiful can help you gain access to certain places or to increase your power in certain settings. By the same token, a perceived lack of beauty or a refusal or inability to conform to certain beauty standards also has really tangible consequences. Noliwe Rooks, a professor at Cornell University who teaches about politics of race and beauty, she says that women are placed in different categories depending on how they appear in the world. And that attempts to decolonize one's beauty routine often leads to pushback from the outside world, especially for Black and brown people. People magazine has an issue of World's Most Beautiful People and exemplifies this as everybody who was on the cover in the 1990s was white. The annual cover, which began in 1990, did not have a non-white person on the cover until its 13th issue in 2003. Halle Berry, a biracial woman, became the first non-white person to cover the magazine for the list. And Beyonce became the first Black woman to be on the cover in 2012, and Lupita Nyong'o in 2014, 22 and 24 years after the start of the list. As of 2024, Julia Roberts has been on the cover double the amount of times a Black woman has been, 4 and 2 respectively. But we just don't start getting bombarded with the ideas of beauty when we grow up. It starts in childhood. I think one of the most significant pieces of media that we consume as children in relation to beauty is Snow White, a classic fairy tale that undercovers the significant emphasis placed on beauty. Central to the narrative are themes of jealousy, vanity, and social value of physical attractiveness. In Snow White, beauty is a pivotal element that drives the plot and influences the character's motivation. The queen's obsession with beauty, Snow White's innocence allure, and the prince's admiration all revolves around the concept of physical attractiveness. The story of Snow White reflects the broader societal attitudes towards beauty and its impact on individuals' lives. The emphasis on physical attractiveness as a source of power, worth, and love can be seen as commentary on social pressures faced by women to conform to beauty standards. So even from childhood, we are fed the ideas of beauty. Yes, all the Disney princesses are gentle and kind and loving and friendly, but they are also conventionally attractive. The prince's role in the story further emphasizes the importance of beauty. He falls in love with Snow White at first sight, enchanted by her appearance, even when she is in a death-like sleep. His love and subsequent kiss, which breaks the queen's spell, highlights the notion of beauty as a power of redemptive force. The prince's immediate attractiveness to Snow White underscores the fairy tale's trope that true love is often initiated by physical beauty, which segues into the next section of this video, which is beauty and relationships. Competition in the marriage market, where the illusion of scarcity is at play, but also the illusion of endless options is also at play. In this section, I'm not strictly speaking of the marriage market alone, but in the relationship market in general. So if you're one of those people who never want to get married, this still applies to you if you're looking for some sort of relationship in your life. My first thought process when it comes to the illusion of plenty of fish in the ocean comes in the form of dating apps, where I think there was even a dating app called Plenty of Fish. Wasn't that a thing? I'm pretty sure. But there are a lot of dating apps today. Tinder, Bumble, Cupid is one, Christian Mingle. There's so many dating apps out there for all of different kinds of people in the world. And dating apps have made people feel like they have more options in the world than they actually are. Because yeah, you're swiping on people, but that does not mean that they will swipe back on you as well. But it just feels like you have so many options. In the same token, while there is plenty of fish in the sea, you would hear people say stuff like the fish in the sea is dead, the sea is full of piss. Have you ever heard that? Throughout the world history of humans, there have never at any given time been so many people in the marriage market at any given point as there are today. Yet it feels like the number of people are still so scarce, especially if you are not on dating apps and you're only relying to meet people in person. And this puts the pressure to appeal to as many people as possible, whether you're on the dating app or in real life, because you always want to look your best. So on your dating apps, you want to take pictures, photoshopping your pictures, filtering it, trying to look the best so that people will swipe on them, so that hopefully they can find some form of meaningful connection that could hopefully lead to marriage. But even in your real life, you want to look as beautiful as possible when you go out so you can meet somebody. But it's like, where do you meet people? Do you go to the supermarket dressed to the nines so that in case you find your husband or wife at the supermarket, you just instantly connect? It just puts so much pressure on everyday people to always look a certain way and to appeal to as many people as possible with the hopes of finding your one true love and life partner. We have discussed so many aspects, literally till the sun came down. We need solutions, and this is the section where we're going to discuss some of the solutions that we can possibly be equipped with for our everyday lives. The beauty standard is not going anywhere, and we have to operate in the world that has beauty standards, but it doesn't mean we have to conform to the beauty standard. So I for one think that if you're in the marriage market, which is where a lot of people are competing, as long as one person finds you attractive and is good to you and you have the same value system, who cares what other people think? Who cares if other people find you attractive? If you are locked in with somebody, if you're married to a person, of course you still want to keep looking nice and beautiful, but you don't need to follow and keep up with the beauty standards day in and day out. It is exhausting. So focus on the people who would naturally appreciate your natural beauty, the way that you enhance it if you decide to do so, versus somebody who wants you to look like a completely different person. I, for one, I'm sitting here, I'm wearing makeup. I know that I'm not going to go out in the middle of the street like looking raggedy. I'm not just gonna wake up and walk out. I still want to be presentable and put myself together and present myself in a good light, but I still want to look like myself. I'm not going to change myself no matter who. And if somebody was not looking for somebody who looked like me, there's so many people out there. There's 7 billion people in the world. In the marriage market, there are probably a good billion people. So I don't think you need to conform to be something else, because there's always going to be somebody who would appreciate your beauty. There's somebody else who doesn't. It's okay. It's okay that they want to appreciate some other type of beauty. You don't need to conform into that for them, because you might imitate it, but it's not authentic to you. And because it's not, you're going to be always chasing that. And because it's not naturally who you are, you're always going to feel less than. While there is a beauty hierarchy that must be acknowledged, we can start to divorce ourselves of these ideologies once we realize that there is no active participants who are truly winners. Even celebrities that are named the most beautiful people, except for Julia Roberts, who was named 4 times on the cover, most of the time the list is new every year. They move people up and down the list. And my thought process is, if that woman was the most beautiful last year, how come all of a sudden she's still not the most beautiful just literally 12 months later? Now there's a whole new beauty. And sometimes they're not picking celebrities who just showed up within the last 12 months. They're picking somebody else who's been there for years. Beauty is very subjective. I don't have solutions to fix the world's problems and to combat the fact that people who are seen as naturally beautiful, conventionally attractive, receive more opportunities and make more money over their lifetime than other people who don't benefit from the same pretty privilege. All I can do as a person is try to be the best I can in my field, be as intelligent and a subject matter expert within my field, which would hopefully benefit me in the long run versus chasing exterior beauty. And I know that's not always fun to say, but in reality, you can either focus on the exterior or you can just focus on what you know, what is in you mentally. And I think that would over time go further than exterior beauty, because somebody can always be prettier than you. And yeah, somebody can always be smarter than you. But when you become a subject matter expert and they need somebody who will perform, they just go for the person who can perform. Now, of course, this is more so in the intellectual field, not in the beauty field. Not if you want to be an influencer, model. That is all subjective and you're at the mercy of the people who are judging your beauty. There are also some things that we can do personally and naturally, such as looking at our diets and exercising regimens and routines and becoming better. I think there is nothing wrong with wanting to be the healthiest and the most fit version of yourself. I know that some people call it fat phobia, which I hopefully in the future will do a whole video on the body positivity movement, but that's something that you can get control of. Obesity has no rewards. So if you get into the most fit version of yourself, You can't tap into the beauty standard while also not getting the negative sides of obesity, such as health problems, possibly dying early, and a whole list of other things that comes with being obese, especially morbid obesity. And waking up in the morning, taking a shower, making sure you smell good, you look good, eating the most natural ways still gives you a way of tapping into the beauty standard. Are you going to get the full-on effect? No, but just by your race, size, and class, there are a lot of people who will never, unfortunately, be able to tap into the full benefits of the beauty standard.
My beauty standards were obliterated when you get a paralyzed face.
You were a model before this.
Kind of makes you wrestle with what's it all mean? What's it all for? So much of our culture is infatuated with what we look like. What a waste. What a waste of a way to live. Our appearance is changing whether we like it or not, because the reality is we're all aging. So what a tragic waste to put all your identity in something that is not going to be the same down the road. We have this one life to live, and we're concerned with how we look? No. How about we're concerned with who we are, our character? What if we cultivate something beyond our appearance? That's really worth living for.
And we have finally reached the conclusion. The modern beauty standard, with its amalgamation of traits from various ethnic backgrounds, mirror the story of Frankenstein's monster, an artificial construction born out of the desire for perfection. This pursuit of an unattainable ideal not only leads to psychological and identity issues, but also imposes significant financial burdens. Understanding the theories behind the beauty standards and recognizing the extensive costs associated with it can help foster a more critical perspective on societal pressure and promote healthier and more inclusive definition of beauty. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I know it was a long one. Hopefully you learned something from it, because it's really important that we understand the financial burdens and ruins that we can put ourselves in trying to attain and maintain a beauty standard, when it's more easier for ourselves mentally and financially to focus on who we are and becoming the best version of who we are naturally. So I've said so much. Let me know in the comments section what your opinions are. Write as much as you can. Give any type of resources that you want to. I am here to listen. I'm here to read. And hopefully this is a conversation that is only beginning. We'll continue to dissect this and come up with some good solutions for ourselves, because we are living in this world and there are people who are younger than us, who are coming up after us, who need to know that the beauty standard is not something that they should be working to attain. If you're interested in reading the articles that I read to put together this video, I'll be putting them in the description box. But with all that being said, thank you all so much. Be sure to like this video if you liked it. I'm working so hard on it, so please give it a like, share with people, share on your social media, share with anyone who you think will benefit from this conversation. And I look forward to reading your comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.